So, in this video, we will try to understand a very popular event of our national movement, and they are asking question related to this popular event of our national movement. And this popular event of our national movement is called RIN Mutiny. RIN Mutiny, right? Royal Indian Navy Mutiny. Is it okay? This kind of mutiny should be conceived in the light of many upsurge, right, during, right, you can say this period 1945-46. There were many upsurge in different area, and that disturbed the British Empire. These upsurge just after Second World War. It disturbed them because they were not peaceful demonstrations. They were the violent response, and they challenged the British authorities, and they had some nationalist influence also. Don't consider it as a separate, you can say, development. So, they were the result of those nationalism. So, these upsurges were an extension of earlier nationalist activity. So, there was influence of nationalism on them, no doubt about it. Fine. Out of these upsurge, the most important for our examination, and they are asking question even in the main examination, is called RIN Mutiny, Royal Indian Navy Mutiny. Okay. So, when we say a Royal Indian Navy Mutiny, you have to remember that this event, this story is about February 1946, right. So, on February 1946, Royal Indian Navy, Royal Indian Navy, right, revolted, right, and out of, you will see that Royal Indian Navy revolted, and it is said that 1100 naval ratings, right, of HMS Talwar. So, if they ask you this name, HMIS Talwar revolted where? In Bombay. Fine. So, this is called Royal Indian Navy revolt, and this revolt, of course, I told you, influenced by the nationalism. Why I am saying this? Because they started writing on the walls also, on the ship also, quit India. So, of course, influence of nationalism. So, there was a revolt, and what was the reason for this revolt? What was the demand of this revolt? What is the significance of this revolt? This kind of question they can ask you. February 1946, there was a revolt, RIN revolt, Royal Indian Navy revolt. And why this revolt? I told you, you cannot ignore this, that there was influence of nationalism on them. But you have to remember that they protested against racial discrimination, bad food, and the treatment meted out to them, insulting treatment. So, why this RIN revolt, if you are writing, what all we can mention? Why this RIN revolt? You can mention that, of course, influence of nationalism. You can mention, right, how bad treatment, insulting treatment meted out to them, treatment meted out to them. Then you can mention why, because bad food was also one important issue, and then one more important issue was racial discrimination. Is it fine? I hope you can handle it. Why naval mutiny, right? So, this mutiny, when they revolted, they started demanding something, and from that demand you can understand their nature, right. So, this demand will tell you their nature. What all they started demanding? They started demanding, number one, they started demanding like release of INA prisoner, Indian National Army prisoner, release of INA. Then you will see the release of other political Indian prisoner, right. Then they started demanding withdrawal of Indian troops, right, from Indonesia. And number 4, they started demanding acceptance of Indian officers as superiors, acceptance of Indian officers as superiors. This kind of demand, right, mentioned in their, you can say, declaration, right. So, they started demanding all those things. Fine. So, now you know why this, I hope you are getting it. We are dividing one event into different dimensions, so that in case they ask you anything, you can get it and you can just reproduce it. So, what they demanded, and then, right, why they revolted, and then why we consider their revolt as significant, right. So, significance of this reaction, why we are taking it as a separate topic, why they are asking question, right. So, significance. So, we can add significance is that it aroused different classes like students and workers. Workers also, remember, they aroused students and workers. So, there was a reaction by working class also, right. Even students started boycotting their class, right. They also started expressing sympathy with the ratings, right. So, why they are significant? Because they are not isolated, right. You can say they started influencing students and workers, therefore, they are significant. Then they are significant because they started influencing our nationalism, but our national leaders, they were not ready to accept this kind of activity in, you can say, in army, in police force, right. So, even Gandhi and Sardar Patel realized that this is not a very good indication. So, Gandhi and Sardar Patel played important role in convincing them that, okay, we will discuss your issue, but there is no need to continue this kind of reaction. So, this kind of approach, so this is significance. Then we can add that this revolt led to destruction of, right, some violent activity was also there, destruction of shops, destruction of shops, destruction of police thanas, police stations, right. Then food grain shop. So, therefore, this revolt not only was an isolated event, it started disrupting normal life. So, therefore, it is important. And then why this is significant? Because it started from Bombay, then of course, in Karachi also this kind of reaction, After Karachi, you will see Calcutta also this kind of reaction, then Ahmedabad also this kind of reaction, and then Madras, and then Kanpur, this kind of reaction. So, this started from Bombay, influenced these areas also, of course, right. So, navy of these areas also influenced, officers of these areas were also influenced, they were also reacting, right. So, therefore, this is called right, very important, and right, they gave this you can say ultimatum kind of thing also to the British, right. So, what was the effect of it? Effect also of this RIN mutiny, what was the effect? So, we can add very important mutiny, we can add that this revolt, this mutiny, what we can call the RIN mutiny, had a tremendous effect, had a tremendous effect on popular consciousness, very important. It had tremendous effect on popular consciousness, right, because it was a response, it was a reaction by armed forces, and right, you will see that because of this, right, you will see that they started realizing, the British started realizing that it is now difficult to continue in India, and some historians say that, right, it actually led to what, right, the coming of cabinet mission. So, it convinced them that very difficult to continue in India, so it is better to, you can say, go for a, right, a clear cut, right, policy of quit. So, they started thinking in these terms, how to quit, right. So, that was the model, that was the issue, but this mutiny actually convinced them that now it is very difficult, right. And some historians say that this mutiny is significant because in this period, sensitive period also, it showed what? Communal, it showed example of communal harmony. But anyhow, so this RIN revolt convinced them that it is now difficult. Now, there is a dissatisfaction, discontent, spread of this discontent in the armed forces. It is not possible to continue, and therefore, they, right, started contemplating, right. So, cabinet mission they had to send, and right, that transfer of power, the process began.